Welcome to the English chapter.
Read world-famous books and master professional English.
Welcome to the English chapter, a podcast made specifically for global professionals and ambitious learners who want to learn new things, digest world-famous books, and improve their English at the same time. I'm Liam.
And I'm Maya. We are so happy to have you here with us today. Our goal is simple. We take the world's most popular books, break down their main ideas into clear, simple language, so you can learn great concepts while naturally picking up useful English words.
Exactly. Think of this as your weekly shortcut to personal growth and language practice. Today, we are opening a book that has become famous all over the world, selling over 15 million copies. We're talking about Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, Maya, when you first heard this title, what did you think of the phrase atomic habits?
Oh, it's a great title, but it actually confuses a lot of English learners. Because usually, when we hear the word atomic, our brains instantly think of something massive and dangerous, like an atomic bomb. So it sounds like the book is going to teach you how to make giant, explosive changes to your life, right?
Right. That is exactly what many people think. But James Clear changes our focus completely. In science, an atom is the absolute smallest, most basic building block of everything. You cannot even see it. So when Clear says atomic habits, he means regular routines that are incredibly small. But here is the secret. When these tiny habits combine, they create a huge amount of power.
Oh, I love that idea. Small actions that bring big results. So, this isn't about completely changing your schedule or your life in one weekend. It's about the tiny steps. Where do we actually start on day one, Liam?
We start with the core math behind the book, the principle of continuous improvement. Clear shares a very simple formula. He asks, what happens if you focus on getting just 1% better at a skill or a habit every single day for a year?
1%? Honestly, Liam, that feels like nothing at all. If I practice speaking for 5 minutes today, I don't suddenly wake up tomorrow as a perfect public speaker. It feels like nothing changed.
It does feel like nothing. And that is exactly why most people stop trying early. The daily progress is invisible. But mathematically, if you get just 1% better every single day for a year, your progress builds on top of your old progress. By the end of 1 year, you will be 37 times better than when you started.
Wow. 37 times better? That is amazing.
It is. And Clear calls this process the compound effect. Let's isolate that for our listeners. Compound effect.
Compound effect. Let's break down that phrase for our business vocabulary. Compound means to mix, combine, or add things together so they grow bigger, correct?
Yes, exactly. Think of it like a bank account. You earn interest on your original money, and then in the next month, you earn interest on top of that new, bigger amount. Your money multiplies. In language learning, the compound effect means that the 5 phrases you master today will make the 10 phrases you read tomorrow much easier to understand. The benefits grow over time.
The benefits grow over time. I really like that. So, if we want this compound effect, we have to stop looking for giant, dramatic jumps and focus entirely on making, what was that perfect word you used earlier, Liam? Incremental progress?
Look at you using great professional vocabulary already. Yes, incremental. That is an adjective, and it means small, step by step, or gradual.
Incremental. Liam, how would our listeners naturally use this word in a professional business meeting without sounding like a dictionary?
Imagine you are leading a team through a big project, and everyone is feeling stressed because there is too much work. You could step in and say, "Look, team, We don't need to change the entire system by Friday. Let's focus on making incremental improvements to our project this week and let the compound effect handle the rest. It instantly sounds professional and strategic.
Oh, that sounds very polished. So, the compound effect is the goal, and incremental steps are how we get there. Let's look at the psychology. What's the next main concept?
This next concept is the most important part of the book. Clear says that most people fail to keep their habits because they focus on the wrong thing. They focus only on outcomes, on what they want to achieve. For example, I want to speak fluent English, or I want to get a promotion. But true permanent change is actually about identity. It is about who you believe you are.
Wait. So you're saying that focusing too much on our goals can actually hurt our progress? That sounds different from everything we are usually taught about success.
It really does. But goals only show you the direction. Your identity controls your daily behavior. To change your life permanently, you must completely shift your perspective. Let's highlight that phrase for everyone. To shift your perspective. It means to change your mindset or look at a situation in a completely new way.
To shift your perspective. Okay, give me a real example of how this works.
Clear uses an example of two people trying to stop smoking. Someone offers person A a cigarette. Person A smiles and says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." Now, that sounds fine, but psychologically, they still believe they are a smoker who is forcing themselves to stop. Their old identity is fighting the new habit.
Right. They feel like they are stopping themselves from doing something they want to do.
Exactly. Now, someone offers person B a cigarette. Person B looks up and says, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." Do you hear the big difference there?
Oh, absolutely. It's a complete night and day difference. Person B isn't fighting a goal. They are just stating a fact about who they are. A non-smoker doesn't smoke. It requires zero effort.
Exactly. So let's apply this directly to our community listening right now. If you constantly tell yourself, "I am an ESL student trying to study vocabulary," you create an internal fight. You need to shift your perspective. Wake up tomorrow and choose a new identity. I am a global communicator. Once you believe that identity, opening a book or listening to this podcast isn't a hard chore. It is just something that a global communicator naturally does.
Wow. That takes a lot of pressure off my shoulders. It completely removes what's that word Clear uses? Friction?
Yes, let's highlight that word immediately. Friction. In science, friction is the resistance when two things rub together, which slows them down. But in daily productivity, friction means any obstacle, difficulty, or extra step that makes an action harder to do.
Ah, so if I want to practice my English writing in the morning, but my notebook is closed, inside my bag, in a closet downstairs, that is friction. It's an unnecessary barrier that gives my brain an excuse to procrastinate.
Exactly, Maya. That is environmental friction. Clear's rule is very elegant. You want to decrease friction for the good habits you want to build and increase friction for the bad habits you want to stop. If you want to read more before bed, put the book directly on your pillow in the morning. Zero friction. If you want to stop looking at social media while working, turn your phone completely off and put it in a separate room. You've just added major friction, making the bad habit harder to do.
Okay, so we understand how to design our physical environment. But what about our actual daily schedules? Sometimes, I just completely forget to practice my new habits because my day gets so busy. Did Clear find a solution for that?
He did. And it is honestly one of the most popular and practical frameworks in the entire book. He calls it habit stacking. Let's isolate that key phrase for everyone. Habit stacking.
Habit stacking. Stacking means to pile objects neatly on top of each other, right? Like stacking books on a desk.
Yes, perfectly described. And that is exactly how you use it for your routine. James Clear says the best way to build a new habit is to attach it or stack it directly on top of an old habit that you already do automatically every single day. The old habit acts as an anchor. That's an important vocabulary word. Anchor.
An anchor. In the shipping industry, an anchor is that heavy metal object that you drop into the sea to keep a ship from moving away. So in psychology, what does an anchor mean?
An anchor is a stable, guaranteed baseline routine. It is an action you never forget to do. For example, brewing your morning coffee, brushing your teeth, or closing your laptop at the end of the workday. Those are your anchors. Clear's formula is simple. After my current anchor habit, I will immediately perform my new habit.
Oh, wow, that is so smart. So instead of saying, I am going to study English tomorrow, which is very vague, I should say, after I pour my morning cup of coffee, I will immediately study 5 new English words for 2 minutes.
Exactly. Pouring the coffee is the anchor, and it becomes the automatic trigger for your new habit. You don't need to look at your calendar or rely on willpower. The old behavior automatically pulls the new behavior forward.
That creates a seamless sequence of events. Let's look at that word for our corporate listeners. Sequence.
Yes, a sequence is a particular order in which related events, movements, or things follow each other. In business processes, a correct sequence prevents mistakes. And on your personal growth journey, habit stacking helps you create a highly successful sequence of positive actions. You can stack multiple habits. For example, after I close my work laptop, I will meditate for 1 minute. And after I meditate, I will read 1 page of a book.
That makes total sense. Create a beautiful sequence so your habits follow each other naturally. Now, Liam, how does this actually work inside our brains? Does Clear explain the neurological structure of a habit?
He does, and this is very important for understanding how our minds work. Every single habit you have, good or bad, is driven by a loop of 4 steps: cue, craving, response, and reward.
Cue, craving, response, and reward. Let's look at those one by one. What is a cue?
The cue is just a trigger that notices a reward. It's a piece of information that predicts something. For example, your phone vibrates on your desk. That is a cue. Next comes the craving. The craving isn't the phone itself, it's the desire to change how you feel. You crave the feeling of entertainment or connection that the notification gives you.
Right. It's the anticipation of a good feeling. And that craving drives the response, correct?
Exactly. The response is the actual action or habit you do. You pick up the phone and open the screen. And finally, you get the reward. The reward is the final point. You read the message, your brain feels satisfied, and the loop closes. Clear's point is that if you understand this loop, you can control your behavior.
So, if we understand the steps, we can change them to help us. If we want to make a new routine stick, we can use what he calls the 2-minute rule during the response step, right?
Yes, the 2-minute rule is incredibly helpful for anyone struggling to stay consistent. Clear says that when you start a brand new habit, the action should take less than 2 minutes to start. Do not tell yourself, I'm going to sit down and study business grammar for 2 long hours tonight. That creates too much mental friction. Instead, make it small. Tell yourself, tonight I am just going to open my book and read 1 single sentence.
But Liam, come on. Reading 1 sentence isn't going to make anyone fluent. Isn't that too easy? It feels like cheating.
It feels like cheating, but it helps your brain overcome the difficulty of starting. Once you open the book and read that first line, the hardest part is over. Your brain naturally wants to keep the momentum going. Let's look at that great phrase for everyone: to keep the momentum going.
To keep the momentum going. Momentum means the driving force or speed gained by a moving object. So when we say we want to keep the momentum going, we mean we want to keep that forward energy, maintaining our progress because we already finished the hardest part, which is starting.
Exactly. You cannot improve a habit that does not exist. First, focus on simply showing up for 2 minutes every day. Once the behavior becomes an automatic part of your identity, you can make it better. But first, you have to get started and keep the momentum going.
This has been such a helpful conversation. Before we finish today, let's pause and do a quick vocabulary review. We want to make sure these words stay in your memory. Liam, let's test our listeners. What was our first term?
Our first phrase was the compound effect. This means the process where small, consistent actions grow much bigger over time as small improvements build on top of each other.
Beautiful. And we get that effect by focusing on incremental progress, an adjective that means step by step or gradual rather than one giant change.
Next, we looked at a critical mindset change to shift your perspective, a phrase that means to intentionally change your mindset or look at a situation in a completely new way.
Then, we talked about controlling friction, a word used to describe any obstacle, difficulty, or extra step that makes a routine harder to finish.
We also explored habit stacking, where you use a stable daily anchor as a trigger to create a successful sequence of new, healthy behaviors.
And finally, once we start that new sequence, our main goal is to keep the momentum going. A phrase that means to maintain your forward speed and continue moving forward successfully because you already finished the hard work of starting. What a great toolkit of words for our listeners to use in their next workplace conversation or interview. Liam, what is the single main lesson you want everyone to remember from James Clear today?
If there is one main truth from Atomic Habits, it is this. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Your environment, your identity, and your tiny daily routines create your future success. Design them well.
Absolutely beautiful. Now, to our listeners all around the world, we want to challenge you to take action right now.
Yes, let's practice today. Scroll down to the comment section below this episode. Choose just one word or phrase we talked about today, like incremental, habit stacking, or shifting your perspective. Write a single, simple sentence using that word, and tell us about one tiny habit you are going to start tomorrow.
Don't be shy. Liam and I will personally read the comments, check your sentences, and give you feedback to help you practice. It's time to build your new identity as a global communicator.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today, here at the English chapter.
Keep reading, keep learning, and remember to trust the process. We will see you all in the next chapter. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. See you next week.